Welcome to the Behind the Beauty Podcast. I am your host, Glamrocs, and tonight I have a very special show for you guys. But I just want you guys to know that Behind the Beauty Podcast is where you find out the little tea and happenings on all your favorite beauty influencers and all your favorite entrepreneurs. Now, tonight I have a very special guest by the name of Nikki Love, and her story is so amazing.
Likewise. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I want everyone to know who you are, what you do, how you survive, the books you've written, and how you're such an amazing woman. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Nikki.
Well, I am Nikki Love Stubbs. For most people think when I say love, I'm speaking of that euphoric moment that we have for someone or ourselves. But for me, love is abbreviated, literally overcoming virtually everything. I am the testimony for that. Till this day, I still face adversities. I am a breast cancer survivor who simultaneously also dealt with domestic violence. So, super excited about that. And I advocate for both breast cancer and domestic violence survivors. I am a labor and delivery high risk nurse, where I went from staff to traveling now. Super excited. And I am my mission is to one day have my very own birthing spa. So yeah, that's what it is. That's a little bit about me. I appreciate you for having me on here, Claudine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now let my guests know how you're such an inspiration also to me and to all women that been through the stigma of DV. Now, y'all listen. Nikki, I don't know where to start with Nikki. So we're going to dissect piece by piece. As you guys can see, she's an amazing person. She does a lot of things. And this is the whole premises of me starting this podcast. Because if you look at her on Instagram, some people just know that she's a nurse, but she's more than that. She's a survivor of breast cancer. She is a survivor of domestic violence. She is an entrepreneur. She is an encourager. She
Mhm.
does so much. So let me start first on how was your life? Where did you grow up?
Oh well, I grew up in Miami, Florida. Well, in Brown Sup, Brown
Real?
Sup, Opelika. So it pretty much was pillar to post. But
Uh-huh.
it originally started at the age of 5. I moved with my grandma because my mom eagerly succumbed to crack cocaine. So I moved to Georgia with my grandmother. So my grandmother raised me from 5 to 9.5, going on 10.
Mhm.
And my grandma took ill, and my mom came and got me. We moved. We come down here to Miami. For me, this is my opinion. Some people can take it how they want to. I think Florida is the worst place, especially Miami, to raise children if you do not have the means to keep them in extracurricular activities.
Agreed.
That's my opinion. All right. So when I came here from Georgia to Miami, it was the fast life. We originally moved on 46 and 46th Street, and I was going to Alapata, and it was rough. I was so lost. I was so naive. I didn't know what was going on. But things started happening to me. I started witnessing things, and I met the boogeyman for the first time in the comfort of my home. And when I protested my attack to my mom, it fell
Hold
on deaf ears.
Not to cut you off. Who
Okay,
is the
no, it was my stepdad
why do you call him the boogeyman?
because he touched me inappropriately, and the boogeyman only come out at night, nothing else.
Okay. All right. So I can tell you did some healing from that childhood trauma because you actually gave that person who violated you a name that is a scary name. So if anybody else is on here watching, this is another way to help your child or your son know how to identify somebody that you consider a boogeyman. Like for
Mhm.
me, my kids, even though I have boys, I always tell them good touch and bad touch. Even when we go to the doctor and the doctor just want to check, I said I am here and this is a good check, a good touch because he is just looking. So
Mhm.
once you identified the boogeyman and you told your mom, go ahead and continue.
It fell on deaf ears. She
Like,
kept telling me, she was like, "Oh, he didn't mean to." Her exact words were,
I'm
"He
sorry.
thought you were me." Where we was living at, it was smaller than an efficiency. We had a queen bed, a sofa, and we all slept on a queen bed. Again, I maybe lived in Georgia and I double wide trailer, but I had my own space. And I couldn't fathom what was going on. It's like my whole world was upside down. I thought my grandma gave up on me. I thought everything gave up on
I
me. And so we're in the bed, and it started off with him rubbing up from the back of my knee up into my inner thighs and touching my private, and I'm like, I jumped and I'm like, hold up, wait a minute, like what's going on? It felt so disgusting.
you felt violated.
I absolutely did. I didn't know what to say, what to do, and I jumped up screaming. My mom became very upset, and she kept
With-
saying that. With me, yes. She was saying, "Oh, he just thought you were me. He thought you were me." And I couldn't believe it. Because to be honest with you, I really didn't. I know she was my mom, but I didn't know her. My grandmother raised me from 5 to 9 and a half.
oh,
So I still held some kind of resentment to my mother because she gave me to my grandma. So I just was like, and then when she gave me to my grandma, I see pictures of her pregnant. But her story to me was she couldn't take care of me. So I was 5, but I wasn't a fool. I noticed that belly. So it just was a lot of things. I had like all these emotions, and I just felt like I was being set up at the time. But in the midst of that, it wasn't so much of me trying to protect myself. I wanted to protect my little sister at the time.
mm-hmm.
And I immediately became like security for her. I
What
did not want that to happen to her.
already at this time was that the pregnancy she was pregnant with was your little sister?
Yes, my sister.
Oh, okay. So you wanted to protect your sister from also from the boogeyman.
Yes, because I wanted to know. I mean, if it happened to me, did it happen to her? But
Oh,
to this day, she said he never did it to her.
wow. So maybe at that time he just looked at you as having no protection, knowing that he knew your mother's status, meaning
Mm-hmm.
status of where she was at. So
Mm-hmm.
he take more advantage. And
Yeah.
you the boogeyman yourself, he probably felt that now that your little sister, I'm not trying to make excuses for him. I'm just giving the reason why he probably did not violate her the same way he violated you. He probably knew that you were a protection for her and would not try it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow. I'm very sorry to hear about that. I'm
Mm.
so glad to know that you're in a better position. So tell me a little more about the breast cancer situation, your diagnosis.
Yes, yes. So the domestic violence theory, all of that, it comes together as one. For me, I believe also, again, this is my opinion to your audience, domestic violence is a learned behavior. So I've watched this for years with the women in my family, and to this day, they're going through it with the men. Okay.
Are,
And it was always,
are dating similar men?
huh?
Are they dating the same men that you knew them to date, or are they dating different men but with the
Oh
same?
no, it's the same men. It's the same men. My mom was with her abuser up until he died. And like I said, I watched it happening. And this same guy, my sister's dad, when they came to Georgia to get me, him and my mom got into an argument. They
Mhm.
fussing, they fighting, and I remember her on her hands and knees begging him not to leave. And I couldn't understand that. I'm like, why is she doing that? I didn't see that growing up because I'm with my grandma. So I mean, they both was high, drunk, out of their mind. He stood up on my grandmother's sofa and he kicked her in her mouth with his steel toe boot. To this day, my mom do not have her teeth. And her teeth came out from the root of her mouth. I mean, blood is pouring from her mouth. I just couldn't understand. I never seen that before. And she's begging him not to go. She's begging him not to leave. And I just didn't understand it because even though she was the way she was, I've always saw the women in my family, especially my grandma, as being strong,
Right.
and they didn't take no mess. My grandma definitely didn't take no mess. So this was the very first time that I've ever seen this happen. And I'm trying to get off the ground, and she's telling me, "Oh no, it's okay, Nicole, that's okay. We're gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right." So I witnessed that. I grew confused. So, but I noticed they never broke up. They always stayed in these long lasting relationships. So, women, what we want long lasting relationship. We want to say that we're married for a long time. We want to say that we're in this relationship. We
I,
still with our children's daddy.
I ain't
Huh?
doing it. See my TikTok, honey. I ain't
No,
for
I'm
it.
saying, but you know that it's women that do that.
Yes, of course.
So Yeah, so they stayed. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess that's what it is. They work it out, call it, brush it under the rug, and it is what it is. So I allowed it to happen. I felt like my mama didn't want me. She used to beat me. She used to sell me off to people. So it's like she don't. I must not worth nothing. So I
What
accepted the beatings. I accept the bruises. Huh?
What do you mean by sell you off?
Well, I used to sleep with men for her to get high. Until I realized if I'm gonna be sleeping for you to get high, shit, I can sleep and get my own money and keep a
Wow.
roof over my head.
So you were not only being violated because of what happened to you as a young girl.
Mm-hmm.
Your mother was in a situation where she was also strung out on drugs and selling your body
Mm-hmm.
for her to get.
According to her, my vajayjay belongs to her.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
So I'm a little girl. I just want to seek my mother's approval. I want to seek her attention. I'm gonna do whatever she want because I'm still chasing that mommy who let me go when I was 5. That's what was happening. I couldn't say those words then, but I knew that's what it was. And the relationship she had with me and my sister were totally different. Cause I even grew resentful towards my little sister because I feel like you're taking my mommy. Like you're the reason why she's not here with me. But I'm gonna stand in the paint and do what I gotta do because I don't want nobody to hurt her. So I live her vicariously, like from school and making her become a correction officer, everything. Like, I lived through this little girl. So
Wow.
I saw the domestic violence. I accepted the domestic violence. I messed with men who only sold drugs because I had children that were product of rape. I needed right now money. I'm 13, 14, 15, having babies. I really didn't care.
So you're
I
a
just need
product of your environment.
pretty at that time, yes, I was accepting that statement.
Okay.
Because we all have choice. So I was accepting. I'm 13, 14, 15. There's not much I can do. I'm
You
not an adult.
you were still a baby.
Yeah. So I started sleeping with older men. Older men had money. They put a roof over my head. Yeah, I take a black eye. So around the time I had breast cancer, I was with this guy who I have 2 children from, and we fought all the time. So I kind of ignored the whole signs and symptoms of the breast cancer. I wasn't a nurse then. I was a welfare recipient. I was ghetto fabulous. My baby dad sold drugs. He worked. We had it. So I was living for the world. And if he beat me, I heal. So I always thought my breast, he hit me anywhere. So that was just healing. But then the
So
pus and blood.
when, especially the way you grow up, when you don't know the sign. And
Hmm.
for me, I want some of the women to hear what you are saying
Hmm.
because of the way you grew up and what you were subject to. You allowed. You said you heal every
Hmm.
time he hit you. Your bruise heal, your wound heals. So you figure the next hit will heal too. And
Hmm.
my situation in DV, I decided that I'm going to try to make it work for the kids until one day I said no more. So I want women to notice that there are different signs and different reasons, different things we tell ourselves
Hmm.
to make the next blow feel a little better, to make the
Yes.
next feel like it's okay.
Yeah. To soften the blow.
Wow. I
Yeah.
am so sorry to hear about what the situation you went through, but I want you to know being on this interview tonight, so much women are going to get the strength if they're in that situation or talk among themselves with their family members and their friends to know that DV is not okay.
Yeah.
Love doesn't hurt. And you have the word love in your name.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
I want to go into a little transition because, baby, the way you talking, you breaking some generational curses up in here.
Hmm.
How did you transition from being a welfare recipient to now being a nurse?
I changed my mindset. Like the moment, so when I had found out about the breast cancer,
Mm-hmm.
this guy who I thought I loved so much and loved me and adored me, he became my biggest problem. Like he told me, I kill you for the cancer kill you. So I did a lot of my chemos by myself. If I came late, we fought. It just was a lot going on. And I went 1 year without inflammatory breast cancer. They removed my breast. I got reconstructed a year later because my surgeon at the time was afraid to reconstruct me, and if it came back, it would come back aggressive and hide behind the silicone. So what we did, we waited a year, and they made it from my belly. They used my belly fat and muscles and so on and so forth.
Wow.
So I was in the hospital for like 3 days, and when I got out, me and the guy got into a really big argument. And my mission with Nikki Love is not to discourage. I cannot say that, Claudine, I want to discourage them. I want women to change their mindset and learn their worth. Once they start thinking like that, then they
Yes.
will walk away from it. But to tell a woman to leave somebody who makes sure they eat, sleep, and shit,
It's hard.
it's hard.
I,
That's
I
not my
talk to
mission.
women. I talk to my daughter. I talk to young women, and I go so hard on TikTok to let women know. I'm not saying not to let a man lead. We all want a good man that
Yeah,
for us to follow, but you
absolutely.
still have to have some sort of independence. I don't care if you're a homemaker. I
Yeah.
don't care if you work a full-time job and have a hustle. I don't care what it is. You still always have to have your own independence. Because to a manipulator,
Mm-hmm.
they love when you don't know what you're doing, baby. They love when you
Yes.
have your self-esteem.
And
They
it be the weakest men that abuse women, but the moment they feel like they can get away with it and you don't do
Mhm.
nothing about it, they're gonna get worse.
They-
They could become very aggressive. And I noticed that anybody who told me to leave, I'm like, oh, you just mad about what I got. So it wasn't working for me. Like I stopped talking to a lot of people telling me to leave my man.
so
It,
your mind was this man is providing, and even though he is abusing me, I
I can take the physical. I can take the physical. The emotional, not so much, but the physical, I'm gonna heal. I'm gonna heal. And then after the breast thing, and I saw my children crying over me. And I'm just like, I can't lose my kids. Nikki, you gotta know, because I'm always the life of the party. I'm always energetic. But he just was beating my soul. And I'm like, I gotta do something. I have to do something. And I'm telling you, in the midst of that, God blessed me with a housekeeping job at Florida Memorial.
Mhm.
And I'm working there scrubbing toilets. I'm doing whatever I can to try to see, am I worthy? Can I do this by myself? And I was able to. So while I'm there, I just don't, I want to say that God sent me an opportunity. My now husband was my opportunity
Mhm.
because I was feeling like I was not this beautiful woman that can do it on her own, that can receive the help. Because everybody always telling me about, oh, you have 5 kids, nobody don't want you. At the time I had 5 kids, nobody not gonna want you, da da da, this, whatever.
Huge.
And and I met my husband. And
Wow.
when I met him, he was my friend. I was never meant friend before. I was always get on my knees, bend over, do it, whatever it is. Because when I started sleeping for men for money, I was the lady of the night. And it was no heart. Like I took no heart to the bed. You don't kiss me. I don't want to talk. I'm there for my money. That's it. In and out.
Whew.
I became very cold. And then I ran into this person who tricked me, you know. But like I said, my husband like encouraged me. He brought out this little girl that who was in Georgia who saw herself being somebody, and I thought she was gone. You know, with all the stuff, I was dirty. Nobody want me, and he just continued to encourage me and tell me, look, you can do this. You believe you can. You can do this. You can do
Yeah.
this. And I just kept going. I kept going.
So
I became, huh?
I'm so happy to hear that.
Yeah, I was a high school dropout. Now I got 4 degrees, working on number 5. So I'm
Girl,
currently in the master program
talk
for
about black.
nursing. So I'm really grateful, but like I said, he was the opportunity, he was that umph for me. And God used a man to get my attention to show that this person do that you can
I
be
say
loved properly.
there are good men out there. I know they scarce now in our community,
Yes,
but
yeah.
there are good great men out there, and I'm happy that God sent a good man your way. Now, to hear how your childhood happened, how God healed you from breast cancer. Now, as a nurse, tell me a little bit about that, and also about how you encourage women now.
Oh man, I love it. Especially working with the underserved and with the community. I run into people like me, early versions of me, all the time,
Wow,
all the time,
God,
and I can relate so much. So it's never I'm never frowning upon or looking down on them because they going through something or whatever it is. I'm just there. I'm just an ear. I want to let them know I'm listening. To be honest with you, I don't never try to be their therapist. I want them to know, girl, I've been there. I've been there now. If you allow me to give you to share these words with you, I want you to know I didn't stay.
Yeah.
Don't think because you see me with this badge that this has all my life has always been good. It have not. I don't care if I have to pull up my background sometime to show them. This where you at now does not mean that is the end for you. But nobody can change that but you. Some we can hoop and holler about what they need to do. We can tell them about the man. We can send them a bunch of pictures about the man. That's not going to change their mind. We have to work on the mindsets of the women who are being emotionally abused.
In our community, working
Yes.
mindset. My God.
Yes, it's all about the mindset. Once you change that, it may be cliche, but it works. You change your mindset, trust in yourself, work on yourself. Even if it's 15, 20, 30 minutes a day, start little. Don't put so much pressure on yourself. Get into your word. Baby, I had to get into my word. I found myself reading my whole Bible. I didn't understand nothing I was reading, but see, God saw what I was doing and God fed me. Like them words fed my spirit and my soul. And it just illuminated my faith in him. And it's no way that I can not share and advocate for young women and men, because men go through it too, and without showing, like, without giving God praise, because it'd have been insult. Like, this man have done so much for me.
Ain't God good?
Man, wonderful.
Let me tell you, one of the things I would also suggest to young women or anybody who wants to heal and change your mind. I'm not saying that you're going to leave him today. I'm not saying you're going to get out
Hmm.
today. One of the things that you need to do is talk to God. It ain't no
Yeah,
there ain't no special way to talk to him. You talk to him just like another person.
that's
Um,
right.
say some affirmations to yourself. Say some nice things about yourself. Say that you're not what you went through, that you can be better. This is an example. She
Yeah.
is an example of what God can do no matter where you're from, no matter how you grew up, no matter who failed you or how you was failed.
Oh man.
Nikki, I've
Um,
met you because you've been one of my clients. Um, was it a fashion show that I met you at?
no, we did the Let Me Heal. Was
Okay,
it
the
for
Let
the
Me,
pastor?
yes,
Yeah.
makeup artist on set.
Yes.
I remember from the first time we started talking, I just felt so encouraged from you. And a lot of people don't know that I was also taken advantage of at a young age and was pregnant at 14.
Yeah. Too.
And I felt that as we got started talking and getting to know you, and I became one of your makeup artists, that I got to know you better. I
Yes.
I love that the woman that God has crafted you to be. And I want you to know one of my favorite scriptures in the Bible, which I tell everybody, is it is good that I was afflicted, because I wouldn't know how
Mhm.
good God is.
No.
And I know sometimes until you get to the healing part, you don't understand it. But everything in your life happened for this moment. This moment
Yes.
where you can write the books. This moments when you can get online on any social media platform. These moments when you have young girls that's probably with my age that are in labor, and you can encourage them and say, listen, I wasn't always in this scrub. I wasn't always having this badge. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
always have ventures. I didn't always have these 4 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
This is what God can do, Nikki. This is what God can do for
Oh
you
yeah.
also. So what's in the future for Nikki? What can we look forward to support you?
Ah, well, right now my self love ebook is on Amazon right now. Nikki Love 15 Pillars of Self
Wow,
Love.
congratulations, sis.
Thank you, sweetie. And I am crafting my self love journal planner, which you will see my face all through it, up and through it, because I want to continue to remind you, young ladies and men, whatever, whoever want to look at it, on how awesome you are. And it also contained a lot of the affirmations or quotes that I lived by. Because I'm really, when that night that I was touched, one of the things that happened to me, that was the first time I grabbed my spiral notebook and paper and pencil, and I wrote a dear God letter. That was the very first time I ever wrote a letter to God. And like Claudine said, it don't matter how you talk, respectful of course, but you just be your true self, and you just plead and you talk to God and you let him know how you feel, because he love you, and you are created and wonderfully made. Whomever you are, I promise you that's you are. But yeah, so I got the journal, self love journal planner coming. Super excited about that. can't wait to that touchdown. And hopefully I'll be doing some more speaking engagements. But I'm available. Whatever God want me, testimony, I tell you, coming from staff nursing and traveling, what I appreciate is how God is moving in my life. People may say it as, oh, she left, she did this, she did. No, no, no. It was God, because everywhere I go, I guarantee you, I'll give you every hospital, I leave something. I leave something. I encourage young ladies. I let them know what they can be, what they will be if they just believe and trust in God. You got to keep the faith. And I minister to so many people. And when I tell people my story and they are like in awe, so I said, you know what? I'm probably not doing too many speaking engagements, but this is it. This is my audience. God give me my audience. So I really appreciate that.